Ever since I was born, Daddy has been the best father.
Behind the towering gates of a $9 million Mediterranean estate tucked deep in the hills of California, a young man lives in calculated silence. That man is Prince Jackson, the eldest son of Michael Jackson, the king of pop and the inheritor of a name that echoes across generations. Yet unlike his father, whose life unfolded under blinding stage lights and relentless paparazzi flashbulbs, Prince chose a life that whispers rather than roars. In a world that constantly demands attention, he offers mystery. He could have danced under the spotlight, mimicked his father's iconic moonwalk, or soaked in the fame that clings to his last name like gold dust. Instead, he slipped away, building a fortress of privacy around himself, choosing reflection over performance, intention over applause. As the world speculated over the heirs to Michael Jackson's empire, expecting grand declarations or tabloid-fueled drama, Prince moved in silence, far from Hollywood chaos, creating a life that neither denies nor exploits his lineage. His estate, with its double security gates and long winding drive, seems less a celebrity home and more a monument to boundaries, a space where legacy lives but does not dominate. This is not the life of a man addicted to attention. This is the deliberate existence of someone born into myth, yet determined to write his own story in hushed, deliberate tones. And as we step through the carefully guarded entrance into this hidden sanctuary, we begin to understand the man who bears the Jackson name, not through flashy headlines, but through the stillness he fiercely protects. But while this tranquil exterior may shield him from the world, it raises an even deeper question. What secrets does this hidden heir still carry from the golden days of Neverland? From the moment Prince Jackson entered the world on February 13, 1997, the spotlight wasn't just waiting, it was already searing. Born Michael Joseph Jackson Jr. in Beverly Hills, he wasn't just the son of a superstar. He was a walking headline, an infant burdened with more speculation than most adults endure in a lifetime. Whispers surrounded his parentage before he could crawl, with tabloids casting doubt on whether Michael Jackson was truly his biological father. Debbie Rowe, the soft-spoken dermatology nurse who married Michael in 1996, was said to have agreed to bear his children not out of passion, but out of loyalty, a desire to give him the family he'd longed for after his turbulent divorce from Lisa Marie Presley. Almost immediately, rumors flew. Artificial insemination, anonymous donors, Mark Lester, Arnold Klein. Names ricocheted through the press, but Prince never blinked. Through every camera flash and invasive question, he remained steadfast, declaring, "Michael Jackson is my father. He raised me. He loved me. He's the only dad I've ever known." But even that conviction couldn't shield him from the bizarre reality he was born into. After his parents' divorce in 1999, custody rested solely with Michael, and Debbie was quietly given millions in a Beverly Hills property in exchange for near-complete withdrawal from her son's life. So while other children played in parks and rode bikes in cul-de-sacs, Prince wandered the surreal wonderland of Neverland Ranch, a kingdom of amusement rides, zoos, and dreamlike stillness, yet strangely devoid of peers his age. His companions weren't classmates but caretakers and nannies, assigned in shifts like staff to royalty. He lived inside a fortress that felt like fantasy on the outside but isolation on the inside. The walls of Neverland weren't just physical, they were emotional, psychological, and impenetrable. Prince was protected, yes, but from what? The world? His parents? Or the truth? That question would haunt his formative years. And though the world saw a boy living in a child's paradise, the boy inside saw only boundaries and the quiet pressure of a world waiting for him to become something he never asked to be. But that illusion of protection was about to crack, because the world outside Neverland was growing darker by the day. The spell of Neverland began to shatter as the new millennium approached. What had once appeared to be a child's dream home, a sprawling estate filled with zoo animals, carnival rides, and candy-colored innocence, turned into the epicenter of growing controversy. In 2004, when Michael Jackson was charged with child endangerment, the magic of Neverland transformed overnight into a heavily scrutinized fortress. Cameras swarmed the gates, helicopters buzzed overhead, and suddenly, Prince Jackson's childhood became collateral damage in a legal and media war. Debbie Rowe, who had long receded into the shadows after giving up her parental rights in 2001, reappeared with legal filings, seeking to reclaim her title as mother, not for love, but, as some suspected, to reclaim control. But for Prince, it was too late. He didn't see Debbie as a mother. He didn't call her mom. Michael had filled that role, that space, that emotional bond, and now that anchor was slipping. On June 25, 2009, Michael Jackson died unexpectedly, and for 12-year-old Prince, the ground beneath him simply vanished. To the world, it was the end of a pop era, a global tragedy. But to Prince, it was the moment his protector vanished and the chaos surged in. Suddenly, the boy raised in silence found himself in the eye of a storm, hounded not just by cameras but by family disputes, legal uncertainties, and a gnawing question. Who would take care of him now? Who could possibly replace the only parent he had ever known? He wasn't just mourning a father. He was mourning the only version of life he understood. In an instant, Neverland was no longer a sanctuary but a fading memory, and the cold machinery of the Jackson family estate began to close in. Prince Jackson wasn't just a grieving son. He became a symbol, a trustee, and a battleground for control, fame, and fortune. And the childhood he thought he knew dissolved under the weight of headlines and heartbreak. But even as lawyers circled and relatives argued, Prince remained silent, his grief too real, his loss too personal to be performed for cameras. The fairy tale was over, and in its place stood a boy trying to figure out how to grow up when the only person guiding him was suddenly gone. After Michael's death, the question of guardianship wasn't just about family. It was about legacy, money, and influence. The responsibility fell to Katherine Jackson, the formidable matriarch of the Jackson dynasty, who took legal custody of Prince Paris and Blanket. At first glance, it seemed fitting, a grandmother caring for her grandchildren, a warm image for a family in mourning. But behind that facade was a growing storm. Michael's estate was worth hundreds of millions, and every decision regarding the children quickly became a legal landmine. Relatives bickered over money, trust arrangements, and public appearances, turning Prince's grief into an ongoing courtroom drama. The boy who had just lost his father now found himself sitting at the center of a billion-dollar empire, expected to navigate trust funds, legal terms, and media scrutiny before even becoming a teenager. His godparents, too, painted an unusual picture of his upbringing. Macaulay Culkin and Elizabeth Taylor, icons in their own right, yet emblematic of Michael's bizarre, glitter-drenched circle of friends. While the world watched closely for signs that the Jackson children might follow in their father's footsteps, Prince quietly tried to make sense of his new reality. The stability Katherine Jackson provided was tempered by the chaos swirling around the estate. Paparazzi followed, their every move. Family insiders leaked stories. Documentaries and tabloid exclusives capitalized on the children's pain. What Prince needed was peace, but what he inherited was pressure. Pressure to represent, to protect, and to perform a role in the ongoing Jackson narrative. His adolescence was no longer private. It was public property, dissected by strangers and manipulated by insiders. And while most teens worried about grades or sports, Prince had to worry about inheritance disbursements, estate disputes, and how to maintain dignity in a family fractured by fame. But even as chaos pressed in from all sides, Prince held his composure, refusing to collapse under the weight of the name he carried. He may have been born into royalty, but he would have to earn his place as a man on his own terms. And the way he chose to do that surprised everyone. While the entertainment world waited for the inevitable moment when Prince Jackson would moonwalk into his father's shadow, what came instead was nothing. No record deal, no dance video, no musical debut. The boy the world expected to sing instead remained silent, making one of the most powerful statements a Jackson could make by doing absolutely nothing at all. After Michael's funeral in 2009, where Prince stood stoically beside his siblings and grandmother, he chose to vanish from the public eye. He didn't give a speech. He didn't wave to cameras. He just stood, still, composed, and heartbreakingly quiet. That moment was defining. It wasn't just grief. It was a decision. A choice to step away from the spotlight that had swallowed his father whole. Over the next few years, Prince made only carefully controlled appearances. An interview with Oprah, a few award show moments, a short-lived guest role on Beverly Hills 90210. Each appearance was calculated, polite, and intentionally distant. He gave just enough to satisfy curiosity, but never enough to fuel speculation. Even when the industry dangled fame in front of him, he turned it down. Instead of launching a singing career or becoming a red carpet fixture, Prince enrolled in college, studying business administration at Loyola Marymount University. While other celebrity kids dropped out of school to chase followers and endorsement deals, he sat in classrooms, read case studies, and prepared for boardrooms. He was laying the foundation for something bigger, but it wasn't fame. It was control. And it was clear Prince had learned something vital from watching his father's unraveling life. That fame without freedom is a gilded cage. By remaining quiet, he wasn't retreating, he was planning. And that plan would soon materialize in a way no one expected. When Prince Jackson co-founded King's Son Productions in 2019, it wasn't just a business move, it was a declaration of independence. After years of resisting the spotlight, he didn't reject the entertainment industry entirely. He simply repositioned himself behind the camera. King's Son Productions wasn't built to make him a star. It was designed to tell stories that mattered without turning his life into one of them. At the same time, he doubled down on a deeper calling: philanthropy. Prince launched the Heal Los Angeles Foundation, a nonprofit inspired by his father's global dream to heal the world. Unlike the performative charity efforts often seen in Hollywood, this foundation worked at the ground level, supporting education, health, and underprivileged youth. Prince wasn't showing up for photo ops. He was organizing drives, attending events, and rolling up his sleeves. And in that quiet labor, he found his voice. The boy who refused to be a performer was becoming a builder, a leader, and a legacy bearer, not by copying Michael's brilliance, but by embodying his deeper mission. He chose substance over spectacle, purpose over applause. For a generation, obsessed with likes and followers, Prince offered something rare: sincerity. His every move, from his business ventures to his charity work, reflected a desire not to be seen, but to make something that lasts. In doing so, he wasn't rejecting his father's legacy, he was evolving it. And while fans still wait for some public transformation, Prince quietly moves forward, building a path not of music or headlines, but of meaning. And yet, even as he works in silence, the homes he lives in speak volumes. Nestled behind tall hedges and dual security gates in the California hills stands a mansion that tells you everything you need to know about Prince Jackson, without him ever saying a word. Valued at over $9 million, this Mediterranean-style estate isn't loud, isn't flashy, and isn't designed to impress the world. It's designed to keep it out. Spanning 1.5 acres, the estate is a study in elegance and discretion. The motor court fits 15 vehicles, but there are no red carpets, no sports cars gleaming in the sun. Inside, coffered ceilings, French doors, and natural light create a calming atmosphere that feels more like a private retreat than a celebrity estate. Every inch whispers refinement, from handcrafted wood beams to marble floors and custom cabinetry, but never once screams for attention. The primary suite alone includes dual dressing rooms, a spa-like bathroom, and a fireplace for quiet evenings. Outside, cascading fountains and drought-resistant gardens create an oasis untouched by the chaos of the city. A detached guest house, with its own kitchen, gym, and upstairs suite, provides a separate haven for family or close friends. And of course, the championship tennis court sits elevated, less an amenity, more a symbol of discipline and structure. This is not Neverland. There are no giraffes, no roller coasters, no Peter Pan motifs. This is the home of a man who has seen what too much attention can do and built walls, literally and metaphorically, to protect his peace. The mansion doesn't just guard Prince's privacy, it manifests it. And while most celebrities use their homes to flaunt power, Prince uses his to escape it. But this is just one half of the story, because not far away sits another home, and it tells a very different tale. If Prince Jackson's hidden estate is a sanctuary of solitude, then his second property in Los Angeles is where elegance meets unapologetic grandeur. This newly built, 200 square foot Mediterranean European mansion doesn't whisper, it declares. Located on a wide corner lot in the heart of the city, this estate is no less private but far more performative. With natural stone cladding, towering ancient olive trees, and terracotta-lined walkways, the house immediately tells you one thing: heritage and wealth have merged into something tangible. Step inside, and the white oak flooring stretches beneath, your feet like a runway of warmth and control. Handcrafted woodwork adorns the walls, and expansive windows flood the interior with natural light that dances off polished surfaces. The design is deliberate, mixing French atelier inspiration with Californian utility. The kitchen? It's a chef's dream. Custom-sourced marble countertops, a hidden butler's pantry, and an open concept layout that merges seamlessly into an outdoor patio lined with fire pits, an alfresco pizza oven, and sculpted gardens. Yet this isn't just a luxury residence, it's a lifestyle engine. There's a moody speakeasy bar, a collector's wine cellar that holds over 1,500 bottles, and a full cinema-grade private theater for screenings and solitude. Beyond that, a wellness center houses a massage room, cold plunge pool, steam room, and private gym. Each detail tailored not just for function, but for recovery, reflection, and reinvention. And in the middle of it all, the primary suite, designed like a private resort with dual walk-in closets, a morning bar, and ceilings that arch like cathedral wings. It's not just another rich kid's playground. It's a personal palace engineered for control, hosting, and legacy. While his first home hides him from the world, this one allows him to command it on his terms. And in this curated balance between privacy and presence, Prince Jackson reveals a rare duality. A man who can host quietly and withdraw gracefully, who can honor legacy without being consumed by it. But behind these walls of stone and oak, another part of the puzzle rolls on. 4 wheels, and it's just as revealing. In a world where celebrity garages boast Lamborghinis, Bugattis, and custom supercars wrapped in gold, Prince Jackson's car collection is almost jarring in its restraint. Instead of flaunting horsepower and ego, his choices scream practicality, discretion, and a deep understanding of what it means to move through life without leaving a trace. Start with the GMC Yukon, large, commanding, but entirely under the radar. Its V8 engine and bulletproof presence don't exist to impress, they exist to protect. It's a vehicle built like a fortress, the kind of SUV you drive when privacy is non-negotiable. Then there's the Ford F-150, America's most popular pickup truck, a symbol of humble reliability. For the son of the king of pop, this isn't just unexpected, it's genius. The F-150 speaks to Prince's grounded lifestyle. Whether he's hauling charity equipment or just driving up the coast, the truck reflects a man who doesn't need validation from his vehicle. It's power without flash, presence without pretense. And finally, the Cadillac Escalade, his only nod to luxury. But even this choice is wrapped in maturity. Yes, it's bold and elegant, with a plush leather interior and cutting-edge tech. But it's also the go-to SUV for those who want comfort without celebrity flashbulbs. These 3 vehicles form a kind of code: privacy, practicality, and quiet power. There are no neon-wrapped sports cars, no paparazzi bait, no convertible statements of status. Prince isn't interested in driving headlines, he's interested in driving unnoticed. His garage tells you more about his character than any interview ever could. While other heirs use their inheritance to carve a path of excess, Prince uses his to carve distance between himself and the noise. And yet, the most powerful story isn't parked in the driveway. It's hidden deep within the structure of the Jackson Empire itself, where numbers reveal the scale of his true inheritance. Behind the calm demeanor and practical choices lies one of the most staggering inheritances in modern pop culture history. Prince Jackson's estimated net worth in 2025 sits around $150 million, but that's just the surface. Beneath it is a financial legacy built on brilliance, chaos, and the resurrection of an empire that nearly collapsed. When Michael Jackson died in 2009, most assumed his fortune was as infinite as his fame. But the truth was darker. The estate was drowning in over $500 million in debt, tangled in lawsuits, and teetering on financial ruin. Prince, at just 12 years old, was on the verge of inheriting a kingdom in flames. But then came the greatest financial turnaround in entertainment history. Under the leadership of Michael's executors, John Branca and John McClane, the Jackson estate clawed its way back to life. In 2016, they sold MJ's 50% stake in the Sony ATV catalog, which included Beatles classics, for $750 million. Then in 2024, they offloaded half of My Jack Music, Michael's personal publishing catalog, for $600 million, which included not just MJ's hits, but legendary tracks from Ray Charles and Sly and the Family Stone. These sales, licensing deals, and re-releases generated over $2 billion in revenue across a decade, with Prince receiving a significant slice as one of 3 equal heirs. According to Michael's will, 40% went to the children, 40% to Katherine Jackson, and 20% to children's charities. That puts Prince's direct inheritance at roughly $67 million in cash, plus shares in ongoing royalties, catalogs, and future earnings from one of the most powerful music legacies in history. But Prince didn't blow it. He didn't burn through it in clubs or drop it on private islands. He chose to preserve it, grow it, and more impressively, give parts of it away. His lifestyle is wealthy, but not wild. His business ventures are smart, not speculative. And unlike so many heirs who fade into scandal, Prince Jackson has turned his legacy into a ladder, not just for himself, but for others. But perhaps the most compelling part of his story isn't about what he has. It's about what he's chosen to do with it. And that brings us to his final, most meaningful chapter. For Prince Jackson, wealth was never the destination. It was the tool. From the very beginning, he seemed to understand what many rich heirs never do, that money without purpose is just noise. Inheriting tens of millions and access to $1 billion music legacy could have turned Prince into another celebrity cliché, but instead, he made a decision that redefined his public image. He gave back. In 2016, he co-founded the Heal Los Angeles Foundation, a name deliberately echoing his father's iconic mission to heal the world. But this wasn't some vanity nonprofit crafted for tax breaks or photo ops. This was hands-on philanthropy, rooted in community. Prince didn't just donate money, he showed up. He partnered with food banks, hosted school supply drives, organized events for underserved youth, and collaborated with local organizations to impact children's health, education, and opportunity. You wouldn't see paparazzi outside the foundation's events, and that was the point. There were no grand stages or media spectacles, just Prince in jeans and a t-shirt doing the work. His foundation became a living extension of Michael's dream, a continuation of the humanitarian spirit that once built hospitals, funded scholarships, and changed lives around the globe. And through that commitment, Prince stepped into a role his father never could, the steady hand behind a quiet revolution. Where Michael's philanthropy was often overshadowed by scandal and spectacle, Prince's impact is precise, intentional, and invisible by design. Yet the ripple effect is undeniable. He has raised hundreds of thousands for causes that matter, mentored youth from broken neighborhoods, and helped build infrastructures that outlast media cycles. And in doing so, he has become something rare, a celebrity heir whose greatest work is not on a stage, but in the background, holding together the broken pieces his family left behind. His life is no longer defined by tabloid rumors or speculative headlines. It is measured in backpacks distributed, meals served, futures rescued. This is the legacy Prince Jackson has chosen to inherit, not just the music or the mansions, but the mission. And in a world where fame often devours the children of icons, Prince has emerged as something far more powerful than a star. He has become a guardian of purpose, proving that you don't need to moonwalk to carry the legacy of a king. Sometimes all it takes is walking forward, quietly, but with conviction.